I'd just like to add, I'm sure we all agree, Cobbs is one of the best blokes in the business, but we're very lucky to have Cobbs work here with his 40 years of experience, so I applaud you all to make the most of that while he's still around. All right. You know what I mean.
Can we start again?
Hand over to Seb now. He's going to run through the switching toolbox.
Morning everyone. We had a pretty great week last week, so some great feedback from everyone and great reporting from everyone. So I got some reports, some crews carrying out some switching on what I believe was a third-party asset, and they were told there weren't going to be any generators connected or anything to the network. So after all the power was cut and whatnot, the generators kicked back in. So they took it upon themselves to make sure that was all safe. So that was, I mean, we all know the risks of solar and generator backfeed. So that was great work by Sean and the other crews out there. So making sure they're mitigating that risk and dropping that hazard down. And there was some frustrating things found with the dead break earthing kit. So for those that haven't used the dead break earthing kit, it's quite frustrating to use. It's got that small insulated rod, a small insulated handle, and you've got to try and get that into the actual dead break itself with your gloves. And so Dean came across that, and it's just basically the nut is not able to house the socket isn't able to house a nut due to a tack weld and whatnot. So I've populated that onto the switching teams page. So we'll see what suggestions we get from there, and hopefully we can make a safer and more efficient way of actually earthing that. And just general stuff like C's isolators, bent DFs, and I'll give you guys this one. So this was, some of the boys were doing some switching and they came across this, which is fantastic, picked up by Reese and the crew out there. So Reese took some pretty good photos of that one. It's a massive highlight on the aging network we have and shows the potential hazards out there and why it's so important to remain vigilant and to independently carry out our risk assessments and hazard ID at each device and at each operation. So that could have been pretty bloody dangerous really if you open that and didn't catch that beforehand. So great work Reese and everyone else that was out there, and make sure we do our risk assessments and hazard ID like we said. So yeah, 573 days without incident, so let's keep that up. It's great work. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Seb. All right, some DS incidents, near misses and hazards that we've had. So we had guys out on standby in the middle of the night holding a feeder, and had an aggressive customer come outside and tell them to get off their property. The guys did the right thing, just obliged and started walking out. But it was a fairly long track, and this, I won't say gentleman, but this guy followed him out, ended up breaking a stick off a tree, and he was quite threatening. So I don't know really what you can do better. I don't think in this instance there was any signs saying to not go on the property or anything like that. I guess if you're in that situation, you just got to do what the guys need and just remain calm, don't get angry at them, and just get off their property straight away. Just tell them that you're going to leave. And tell them who you work for and why you're there first, and then just tell them that you're going to leave.
Who reported?
Not yet. I still got to follow up with it. Yeah. It's not on the workmate app either, maybe customer. Yeah. But it's actually found in the end, they don't actually have power on their property. The line comes in just to this end, so I'm not even sure if we can get added, but I'm sure we can. But well done to the guys on site that night. We had a broken office chair. Someone was pulling the office chair forward and the actual leg on the office chair snapped, not the wheel come off, the actual leg snapped. So
Read it out correctly.
that's what it says. So just check the office chairs. Some of them are getting quite old. We have, Bruce has got a heap of new ones for us, so we have swapped a few out. But just be wary. That office chair's can break, I guess. We had a safety hazard, so an employee bumped their hand while they were prepping some gear. quite a minor incident, but I believe the hand puffed up a bit, so they reported it. Is that any better? The last one was could have been quite serious. We had a rolled ankle stepping out the back of the truck. As the employee stepped off, he rolled his ankle as you can. Luckily, his boot zips were done right up. The guys on the side actually heard a pop. There's quite a significant amount of bruising on the bottom of his foot. So it's a good reminder to always have your boots zipped up and done up tight, because if that wasn't the case in this instance, he probably would have, well, he would have done a lot more damage, no doubt about it. That's all of the reports. So over to some general depot stuff. So Aaron Kendall's handling his resignation. So he'll be on leave during his notice, so wish him all the best. If anyone wants to reach out, we can give you his personal details if you need. End of an apprenticeships are open. They've been out in Seek for probably half a week now, I reckon, maybe a bit longer. So if you know anyone that's interested, get them on Seek, find the link and apply. We're putting on 4 intakes over next year, so look forward to that. Mullets for mental health. Sam Brown, he's not here. So Sam Brown, Ryan and Josh Blake, so we're going to cut their hair into mullets. Some have already got some going. Sam Brown especially, as you know, he's got really long hair. It's quite a commitment. Oh, you've been out there, mate?
Maybe after the wedding.
So as I think I know we all agree it's a great cause. There's a bit of a loose plan yet. We haven't got a date set, but we want to have it in the depot in the afternoon. I think Ryan's mum's offered to trim the hair. Is that right, Ryan? Yep, cool. So she's going to come in and cut the hair off, and we'll have a couple of quiet drinks and raise some money while we're at it. Next, Enervin driver performance reports. I had some people ask me why they're getting these emails. I don't know why they started coming through. They've always come to me, but now it sounds like everyone's getting them individually. So you'll get 2 emails. One will say how your driving's been. It's scored on a 0 to 3 is acceptable, 4 to 9 is moderate, 10 to 15 is harsh. Scores on turning, accelerating and speeding. If you're green, you're good. You'll get another report if you've had violations, it outlines violations. So that's just an FYI while they're coming through. There's a safety culture survey that'll be getting sent out straight after this toolbox. So I want everyone to use. It's going to take about 7 minutes to do it straight away, fill it out. It's pretty much identical to the one we did 18 months ago. So it's just a good way to see how we're tracking from there. So if I forget, someone remind me to hit send on that email before I go. Rentsy's done some work in making a box out the back where the cables are. We found all the cables, not all of them, but a lot of them have been cut and not been heat shinked or covered up, which isn't right. We're gonna wreck cable doing that. So he's actually installed a box out there. It's yellow, you can't miss it. It's got cutters, it's got heat shrink caps, and it's got a heat shrink gun in there. So there's no excuse for not putting the caps on at the end of the day, when you cut it, sorry. We've also purchased 3 covers for the sand bins that fit over each sand bin, so when we're travelling with sand down, make sure the cover's on. They will stay on the sand bin, so they shouldn't go missing. Also had some feedback. The truck pre-start app has been hot on checking that, making sure people are doing their pre-starts. People are slowly filtering through saying they haven't even got the app. So if you don't have the app, it's just an IT request, or if I can get a heap of names together, I'll get something sent off in bulk. But please check that you've got the app and make sure you're doing pre-start checks in trucks. It needs to be done daily. And lastly, we have the opportunity to do free skin checks at our next safety meeting on September the 16th, Friday. So they just want a rough amount of people that would be interested in that. So if you're interested, raise your hands and I'll just do a quick count. Going around this way. Keep your hands up. No worries. Just let me check. Yep, we are good. Thank you guys. Have a safe day.